it's so earned too in the context of the movie, but fuck, that's good.
So me picking this movie was a big fuck you to Mud.
I don't know how this is a fuck
It's
you.
like teaching your son how to ride a bike. You know what the thing is? I only know what he looks like old, and I can see it.
It's like watching young Christopher Lee in Golden Gun.
Yep.
I think I'm gonna edit this review, like a shortened version, and then I'm gonna do another review where it's every joke we've made, and then I'm gonna do a third review where it's a mix of the two reviews.
And then we can make a documentary about the making of this video.
Don't forget the parody film, Tropic Quality Content.
Sir, I'm unaware of any such activity or operation. Nor would I be disposed to discuss such an operation if it did in fact exist.
And the man who carried out the operation totally wouldn't want you to know that he has a huge dick.
Look how young he looks.
Yeah, they also like made him the archetypal 80s computer nerd look.
79, but yeah. All 80s computer nerds are based off Harrison Ford's Apocalypse Now appearance where there's no computers.
100%. Mud, you who loves this movie, have you seen Hearts of Darkness?
No, I haven't yet, actually.
I heard it was pretty good.
I know what Mud's next recommendation is.
That'd be an interesting double down. There's a whole Wikipedia section on Apocalypse Now called Problems While Filming.
Seems pretty easy to film. You just, grab a cigarette, lights it. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, nothing's happened so far.
Yeah.
Martin Sheen suffered 80 heart attacks making this scene. Problems while filming. Real human corpses were bought from a guy who turned out to be a grave robber. That's the opening line to that section.
Where else would you get real human corpse? Reputablehumancorpse.com? Like, that didn't exist. A, the internet wasn't real. B, what the fuck?
14-year-old Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh my god. I
Look
don't see
at
it.
I don't see it.
When they were making this film, he said he was 17. He was actually 14. By the time they finished filming, he was actually 17.
No, perfect. It made sense. And they're like, happy 20th birthday.
Yeah. Oops.
Oops, all child labor. Marlon Brando.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's Kurtz.
Fucking love him.
Don't look at the camera. It's for television. Just go through. Go through.
That's actually Francis Ford Coppola, by the way.
That's really funny.
You guys have been freaking out about young Lawrence Fishburne. Wait till you see young Robert Duvall.
Young. He's still old.
Yeah, but he's not like a leather skull like he was in Widows.
We are here to help you.
We did it, Patrick. We saved the city.
We saved Bikini Bottom. You know, I could make a bunch of jokes like us in Iraq, us in Afghanistan, but
I mean, that's the point of it, though, you know?
It's just us. It's what we
we've
do.
done every time. Us in America.
I can take that point and hold it just as long as I.
Oh, Ride of the Valkyries.
Yeah,
That's this
that-
movie.
That's this
You said this was 79?
79.
What the hell won over this for Best Picture?
Kramer versus Kramer, I believe.
Oh, that makes sense.
Kramer versus Kramer, by the way, slaps.
Have not seen it. Heard
Not
it.
as good as this, though. Personal opinion.
If Kramer vs. Kramer was better, it'd be your third, second, or first favorite movie of all time.
You're right, and it's not even on my top 10.
So, Mud, this is your favorite version of the movie?
Yeah.
Oh, Paul Rudd's in this. Time to solve all problems across all countries.
Look at that automatic 50 kilo in the open.
Oh, be careful, guys. They have 3 dudes with guns, and we have 8 helicopters.
Your saviors are here.
Go, save them harder, more bullets. Why would you ever get out of the helicopter for war?
I know. Everyone's perfectly safe inside with the big guns.
Duvall's not in the rest of the movie.
Oh, I like Duvall's character. He tried to surf during a war.
Yeah, he's fucking insane.
500 B's.
Show, man, the show out here. Funny.
We brought a bunch of Vietnamese women. We're forcing them to get naked. That's the show.
You're not that far off.
I didn't think I was going to be that close. But, oh, wait, what a banger. Imagine being like a model and they go, hey, want to go to Vietnam to get kind of naked for some soldiers?
This might be something a cowboy might wear.
Yeah, that's how you fire an M16.
Oh, they're not allowed to go out there.
No, they're not. You gotta understand, they've been fighting the Viet Cong and Am Horny. That's why they had like 8 guards.
Yeah, thank God. You're overestimating how not evil people are.
No, not overestimating. Oh my god, guys are hanging off the helicopter for pussy.
I mean, kinda, yeah. I feel
Give
that.
me cooch.
My God, they're trying.
It gets better.
What's he gonna do when he's up there? I mean,
He's like, oh my god, one of those guys is Lance.
No, Lance is smart.
Are you sure?
Well, he did call one of the women a fucking bitch, so Lance is kind of stupid. Whee! This scene is the reason I prefer Redux to the Final Cut, because this got cut out in
Really?
Final Cut. And I think it's actually very important to Chef and Lance's characters.
it also shows more dichotomy between them.
Yeah. And it continues to articulate how these guys just abuse women.
If it hadn't been for the Vietnam War, I never would have met you, Mr. Simber.
If I hadn't saved that entire village with all the dynamite and bullets, I would never be here. Really bold choice to go practical with the dead body.
Lance is my favorite character in this film.
Lawrence Fishburne's my favorite. Look at him in the background.
I did. Okay, I've seen this movie 10 times. I've never noticed that Lawrence is right there.
So on a scale of 1 to saved, how saved were they?
They're all saved.
Saved forever. This is entirely Clean's fault.
I can't imagine like how unsaved they would be if these Americans didn't show up and solve their problems for them. I mean, imagine they'd just be living their lives.
Unsaved.
Unsaved. How horrible that would be.
Okay, I know I've said this like every time they've reached somewhere, but oh my god, this sequence is amazing.
What are you shooting at, soldier?
Go! What the fuck you think I'm shooting at? Son! I'm sorry, sir. There are goops out there by the wire.
I'm sorry, sir. Let me use some racial slurs.
Lawrence Fishburne, no!
This is just his residual self-image.
Fun fact, filming was so hellish, Lawrence Fishburne actually just died. That's the only way they could capture it on screen.
This is the biggest thing that was added to Redux, was this whole French plantation sequence. It is Clean's burial, is one of the things it adds.
Oh, so they would have never buried him.
Yeah, his body would have just kind of disappeared from the river.
Well, that would have been a huge thing I would have pointed out as like, bullshit, why did he go?
Well, it would have just been assumed that they just kind of tossed him overboard.
This is a hell of a lot better.
Yeah. I don't think the entire sequence is necessary, but the reason I prefer Redux to Final Cut is because Final Cut cuts out the second meeting of the Playboys, which I think is very important to Lance and Chef.
And Chief to an extent. 'Cause
And
he doesn't
Chief.
fuck.
I do understand why it was cut out, though, because as they sail upriver, everything just gets worse. And this is like kind of bit of a reset. They probably showered. They got to, clean themselves.
They got to eat food.
They got to eat food that
You know
wasn't
what I
shit.
think, though?
They didn't
I-
have to deal with trauma.
I would rather have a scene where good shit happens, because then, once they go back, it sets in that dread of like, oh,
Yeah,
we're
but
not
it's-
home.
I always thought that was perfectly done with the Kilgore scene at the very beginning, It sets the mood for like this light, kind of dark comedy romp upriver. And then every sequence after that just kind of pulls the rug out from underneath them.
Here, we don't lose.
Is this man saying the French don't lose?
Good sir, may I direct
Have you ever seen history, sir?
New Americans in plans of Viet Minh.
No, dog, we're saviors. Come on, we're white saviors.
If you keep talking like that, we'll save you.
Okay, we surrender. I'm sorry.
The white left. The yellow stay.
Hey, you just ruined that bread. It was a good metaphor, but you're an asshole.
Okay, I kind of see why it's cut now, because this guy's going on pretty long about
And he's
politics.
literally talking about how the French people aren't cowards.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I really like this
Stop
scene.
comparing me to Chicken Little. Chicken Little is a coward. There's a lot of layers to it, and I think this is a good microcosm of like how I feel about Apocalypse Now. Is like, I don't think the scene works, but I also think it works very well, and I think you lose something by taking it out, but I also prefer it's not there.
You could even just keep it in, but trim down this guy's monologue. You know
That's
what I mean?
that's basically what the final cut does.
Oh, makes total sense then.
One that kills.
Out of 10, guys.
Don't go to the white light, Martin. You didn't even do the thing where you left the water yet. That's like the two scenes I know. Ride of the Valkyries, water. Why'd they kill the two black guys first?
They did do that in this movie. You're absolutely right.
3/5 of the crew is white, and they killed the two black guys, and now 3/3 of the crew is white.
It's called the 3/5 compromise.
The one thing I've learned during this movie is Vietnam's perpetually on fire.
All right, you guys ready for the last 40 minutes? It's just balls to the walls from here on out.
Always.
Ready for a cult?
I bet in that Hearts of Darkness documentary, you're going to interview all the actors and they're going to be like, wow, it's such a terrible time. We all almost died. It was awful. And you interview the guy who played the French guy, like, this was awesome. I had a great shoot in this mansion with all these
I
beautiful
ate
women.
really good food.
Really good food while showered. It was great.
Wow, Chef's a little dead, huh?
Chef is very dead.
So Lance is...
Lance the only one left.
Okay. I like how he still has his dog tags on.
So Lance got culted.
Lance has been culted since
Okay.
the moment they arrived.
Fair enough. I wonder if Martin Sheen is going to get culted. He's pretty freaking close.
To get into a bit of it more, I think the reason Lance survives is because he is more passive to the events that happened than Chef, Clean, and Chief were.
So their hearts were of darkness. Oh, it's an apocalypse now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
It is an Ad Astra.
Oh, that's a big cut.
Was that actually slaughtered?
Yep,
Probably.
that's a real water buffalo. They actually killed it. The movie got a lot of flack for that one.
I bet they did.
I still can't believe Francis Ford Coppola is related to Nick Cage.
I know.
Really?
Yeah.
Why the fuck?
No, I respect that.
I respect it, but sheesh. This man was like, I'm gonna make The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2 and Apocalypse Now and The Outsiders and Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Why isn't this now logic, where if you kill the top guy, you become the top guy?
He didn't eat him is the thing.
You gotta eat him too.
You gotta
Fuck.
eat him to absorb his power.
Eat the rich.
You gotta get promoted by eating your manager.
We've been over this. You kill and eat your boss, you get a promotion.
Oh, who wants to eat Donald Trump?
I'll do it.
Fuck it.
It didn't mean saving the country.
You're not old enough to eat Donald Trump. You have to be at least 35.
You make a good point.
Yeah, that's the problem with eating Donald Trump to become president. That's the one issue. Oh, is that Lance?
That's Lance.
I can barely recognize him.
That's what the river does to you, man. All right, guys, out of 10.
I do not go first.
You do not.
Oh yeah, you picked it. Oh fuck,
Ian
Mud and I
picked
go
it.
first.
So, allow me to fire in immediately.
All right, he's firing immediately.
So, neither of you have seen this movie before, right?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay, I've seen this movie almost 10 times. This movie is on my favorite film of all time list. It is in my top 10 favorite films of all time.
What is it?
It's number 4.
Okay.
It's just off the podium position, just beaten out by the entirety of the Lord of the Rings trilogy extended edition, which is one movie. The way it conveys this story about war and human nature is similar to other movies on my top 10s, but it's just this beautiful idea about the ideas of evil, what it takes to defeat evil, and how evil takes many different forms. Because Colonel Kurtz is objectively an evil person. And there's a shot towards the end of the movie where Willard is going through Kurtz's notes, and it's these long, neatly spaced, neatly typed out notes that are these whimsical, wax poetic, articulate soliloquies of his thoughts. And then at the very bottom of it, there's one page that just has in big red letters, all caps, "Drop the bomb, exterminate them all." And that is, if you take away all the theatrics, all of the showmanship, all of the posturing, that is what Kurtz thinks. Just kill everyone. It's not worth it. They're animals. They deserve to die like animals. It's ultimately a movie about Willard having to understand Kurtz as a human being so he doesn't drink the Kool-Aid. Because Willard was not the first person to be sent upriver. But he will be the first person to come back. If I can tangent into my own personal beliefs about the film, that is what makes Lance's character so important. There were several American soldiers with Kurtz. You see them early on when he first arrives, including the dude who was sent before Willard. Willard only takes Lance back with him because Lance is the only one whose soul he can save. Everyone else is lost to the jungle. But Willard sees just enough hope in Lance because, in my opinion, Lance is a shadow, an echo of what Willard used to be.
Okay.
And Willard doesn't want Lance to end up like that. And maybe that's reading a little too much in the film, but I do think there are a lot of important allegories between Lance and Willard, and I think Lance's survival and being brought back with Willard at the end of the film
It's like the beacon of hope.
is
and
the beacon of
innocence.
hope.
Yeah.
Exactly. He is the innocence. And the reason I say that is because, they took out Clean, they took out Chief, they took out Chef. Why didn't they kill Lance? Why didn't he leave Lance behind? I think it's important, and I think it's what seals this film for me, is the fact that Willard takes Lance, and it's these two guys who have just gone through the utter shit together. And at the end of the day, after everything, after all of the strangeness, after all of the horror, they're just going home.
Hopefully.
Yeah, they're probably not going to make it.
Yep. They have to go back through the river. Though,
Run out of fuel,
Exactly.
something.
Um,
Go back to the French plantation and pipe that woman.
I definitely see a lot of your points. I'm gonna lead with my score. I'm gonna say that this is an 8. I really, really liked it. My only real criticisms would be that the story, the main story of Marlon Brando having to die, him getting hunted down, and that amazing half-hour, 40-minute ending, takes a back seat in the middle of the movie. It mostly becomes like an Odyssey-esque story where he goes out on a mission, but he encounters the sirens and he encounters this guy and that guy and Poseidon. It's like, well, they're kind of related, but I feel like it furthers characters, sure, but it doesn't really advance the story.
It also, well, I argue it does because it also reflects the absurdity of Vietnam, which is what Marlon Brando's character is meant to be a dark reflection of.
Sure, but you don't have to spend an hour and a half doing that.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Maybe,
but they
okay,
do.
well, to like counterpoint myself, I've only seen Redux. Maybe Apocalypse Now, the other one, or the Final Cut.
I can say it's mostly just cutting the French plantation stuff. Which
I like that though.
It's good. It's good. I prefer the scene with Roach and the scene with Kilgore because those are important sequences to Willard understanding how someone like Kurtz can come out of this environment.
I would extend some of my criticisms about the French plantation scene where he goes on with his monologue for like 4 or 5 minutes. I would extend those similar criticisms to a lot of the middle of the movie scenes. I want to keep those scenes in because they are great. Like I said, they do further characters and further certain plot lines. But at the end of the day, I think the middle of the movie wastes a little bit much time with the story.
In my opinion, this film is about, ironically, it's about the journey, not the destination.
Fair.
Because it's Willard coming to understand Kurtz by proxy of understanding the war in Vietnam.
That's understandable. And I think I might even take a reverse point of view and say it's about that destination. It's about him getting there and realizing what he has to do.
Yep.
And everything up to that point has been building to that moment.
It's context. Because if
Exactly.
they just airdropped Willard into the compound...
I'm not saying start the movie there.
I'm just saying, like, to give an example, if they just airdropped Willard into the compound and you just iced him in 20 minutes, sure, he accomplishes what he was supposed to do, but he doesn't learn
It doesn't
anything.
mean anything either.
Yeah, he doesn't kill 3 people.
Exactly.
Get 3 people killed, I should
You
say.
got the masterpiece out of the
So,
movie.
I mean, I think the score is implied by the fact that it's on my top 10 favorite films of all time,
Yeah,
and
So you
it's,
think it's like a 7?
Yeah.
it's 10 out of 10. This movie's fucking perfect.
Ian, you picked it. How you feeling?
I loved it. It was fantastic. It was long. Don't get me wrong. It is a long movie.
We picked the longest
The
version.
movie is 3 hours and 15 minutes. No credits at the beginning or the end. But I didn't feel like it was long. I was just sitting here enjoying myself, enjoying the journey. No one else was enjoying the journey that was in the movie. Don't get me wrong.
Everyone else
That
is
was
going through hell.
all hell.
We're enjoying watching them though.
It's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. The acting, A1. Some of the best actors of all time are in this movie. And Marlon Brando, of course.
Lawrence Fishburne.
And Lawrence, my guy. There is not enough that I can say positively about it. It was fantastic. Mud, you got a lot of the points that I wanted to talk about down about how the journey reflects everything that's going on. The Vietnam War was super fucked up. Everyone involved, the whole thing was just a fucking disaster mess.
Yeah.
And after that, like picking up the pieces of our own country and like trying to come to terms with what we did because everyone knew it was fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody knew it was fucked up. That little bit of like innocence that gets taken back with it, I think through all the horror and fuckiness, you realize innocence. You realize like taking that step to bettering yourself, and that's what he does with taking Lance back.
Mm-hmm.
That we can't make the same mistake kind of deal. Like we have to save at least something.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the movie does a fantastic job hitting the mark on its allegory.
This movie does
Throughout.
a lot to speak about the human condition.
Yes,
Mhm.
this
This
movie
is-
is about the human.
I mean,
both.
even aside
Jesus.
from Brando's speech, which is kind of about that, each character kind of represents a certain ideology
Yeah.
and like how they go and through their trials and tribulations along their journey.
And
I
I like-
really like that.
I like how there are two characters representing innocence, really. I think my boy Larry Fishburne and Lance both represent innocence at the beginning of the movie.
you know what's
and
even
You see Larry turn, and you see Lance kind of stay on the same path.
you know what else is great? To talk about a movie that came out this year, Defy Bloods.
Mm-hmm.
I came across an article where it talked about how Apocalypse Now also unintentionally really references the struggle of black men in America
It does.
in
Mm-hmm.
Vietnam. 2 guys who don't make it up the river, black. When we get to Roach and just the absolute hell, like the worst place they visit, objectively, a majority of the soldiers there are African American.
Yep. All of them were. I didn't see one white person there.
Yep. And Kilgore's group, I think there's one black guy in it, and he got his leg blown off.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They were kind of thrown to the wolves in most wars back then.
Yeah.
And still now, but
But
to a
yeah,
lesser
so
extent.
like there's my point
Mhm.
is this: if you're looking for a good Vietnam
Very
movie,
layered.
this film's got it all.
And the
does.
thing is, I don't like war movies. Most of the time, they're fucking awful or boring or over the top action. Movies like that, like Pearl Harbor, it's over the top, like patriotism garbage bullshit. And they bore me. I don't want that. I want something complex. I don't feel like it should be just an action movie. I feel like it should mean something.
War movies shouldn't be about the war.
They should be
about the
reflecting about
people.
something. In 1917, not a war movie about the war.
Nope.
Fantastic. Things like that where you get lessons and reflections. The movie's about the war, but the movie's not about the war.
No,
Like,
it's not. It's about Willard and Kurtz and Lance.
yeah. The Vietnam War is just a vessel to tell the story about how fucked up it is.
Mm-hmm.
10, by the way. I didn't say that yet.
Nice.
Correct.
Amazing. Best quote quote war movie I will ever watch, probably.
Mm.
That's not even close.
Yeah. So with all that out of the way,
Mud,
Mud,
what's
I
your-
get to pick my movie. I spent a lot of time thinking about this one.
You didn't have to.
I didn't. Okay, so I was originally gonna pick something else, and then you guys both picked bangers. And I don't want to say the movie I was gonna pick was bad, but I knew it was gonna be a step down from the other two.
Oh no.
So this is gonna be some big brain alpha wave level 4D chess maneuvers.
Jesus.
So Jake, you picked The Last Temptation of Christ. It came out in 1988, and it was nominated for Best Director,
Mm-hmm.
but it lost to the director who directed Best Picture that year. Okay.
Okay.
And Scorsese has 9 Best Picture Best Director nominations.
I think Mud's having a stroke.
I am.
Okay.
Ian, you picked Apocalypse Now, a 79 film nominated for Best Director that was lost, or Coppola lost
To the guy who did Best Picture. Yeah.
guy did Best Picture. Coppola, 4 nominations. So there's 9 years between you guys' movies. So I picked a movie that's 9 years older than Ian's,
Oh my god.
was nominated for Best Director, but lost to the Best Picture Director that year. And this guy's been nominated 5 times. This is a very long-winded way to say we're going back to Vietnam because, boys, we're watching MASH.
Like
what the
the
hell
show?
is? Oh, the movie.
The
Mash?
movie MASH that inspired the show.
Okay.
Okay.